Welcome to Hero Arts video. Today I'm going to make a shabby chic wall hanging, and I'm using the Tinkering Ink Garland. It's a chipboard scallop shapes, and they're about 8 inches tall. They come in two different shapes, the scallop or the triangle. So what I've done here with my first scallop is I've used craft paint, and I've just kind of swiped it around, let it dry, and then I've used old paper, crackle distress paint, and I've just added a few splashes here and there. I've also cut out some cardstock from an oval shape that I created just to fit in the center. Then I have my other pieces, and I have these basic gray chipboards, and I've edged them with white paint as well. Now I'm going to apply the crackle paint. This is Picket Fence, which is a really nice white. And you just pull out the applicator and start rubbing it onto whatever you want to put it on. Works great on chipboard. I like to use heavy strokes and light strokes, and it gives me a variation of the crackle. So I'm just going to cover it really well. Next, I'm inking up my design block stamp with Versamark ink, and I'm going to just do some clear embossing. I usually start at the bottom first, and then I work to the top when I'm stamping an image twice. And you can see my naked stamps. This is how I get them. They're pre-production, so I don't have the labels. Actually, I have the labels, I just haven't put them on. So I've got one image stamped, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up again. And I'll just add that to the top. And I'm going to move this out of the way. I just use a sheet of printer paper to catch my embossing powder. So now I'm just going to kind of pour it on generously and gently tap it off. I'll turn it around so I can get the rest of my sheet. This is one of my favorite stamps that I'm using, the Holly Flourish, which is a lot like the other flourish. Now I have my excess powder, and all I need to do is just bend the paper a bit and put it back into the container. So I've heat embossed my image, and now I'm going to start putting my project together. So I'm just laying down some adhesive, and I've used a Cuttlebug Swiss Dots embossing folder from my brown paper here. I'm just going to apply that to the top, straighten it out a bit, and now I'll just trim the edges with my scissors. Now I'm using a tonic edge distresser. It's a Tim Holtz product, and I'm just roughing up the edges of my paper strip. This is a great tool to have. Now for the scallop edge, I'm going to just do a direct to paper method, and I'm just using a shadow ink. I'm just going to sporadically just put the ink down onto the paper. This is Soft Sand by Memories. And the scallop edge is basil. I just cut it off a 12 by 12, and it's the one that has the little holes in it, so I'm just going to poke out the little centers using my pokey tool. Then I've put adhesive on the back. I'm just laying them down, and I'll trim the edges with my scissors. And now I'm going to use my tonic distresser again. I'm going to grab the edges and just roughen those up a bit. I'm kind of holding my little strips down well so that they don't slide around. And now I'm just adding some glue to the other oval that I've cut. I'm just going to put the two layers together to give it more stability. And I just use a plain glue stick. I'm lining them up, press them down, and I'm just going to go and run it through my sewing machine and sew the edges. Now I'm gluing around the edges of the oval, and I'm going to go ahead and place it onto my chipboard. Now my letter Y has dried, and you can see I used the plastic so I can look through it. Now I'm going to start adding some finishing touches, and I've put Stickles glitter glue onto my snowflakes and added a button to the front. And I just have put a glue dot on the back, and I'll just place it onto my project. I'll just snip my string ends. You can see my other snowflakes up in the top and my stickles. That's just what I happen to set them on when I glue them down. And I'll add a couple more buttons here to the side, and that kind of balances my project off. If you notice, I did cover up the holes on the project. I'll punch with my crocodile in a little bit and add ribbon. So here we have it. This is the Y, which joins the O and the J to form joy for the holidays. Thank you for joining me on today's video. This is my final project. Enjoy!